Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to another early access premiere draft of Edge of Eternities, the brand new format. Lots of cool stuff going on here. There's tons of ramp with these lander tokens and stuff. We have spacecrafts and station mechanic, a lot of cool things. So I'm excited to hop in to this event. I do have to put a disclaimer out of the way. This was a promotional event. The Wizards of the Coast provided me with the access to these drafts for free. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the draft here. I don't think we're supposed to start with a triple black card, although this is a pretty strong one. There aren't many multicolored cards in the set, and there's no dual lands, so I guess sticking pretty deep on one color could be reasonable. Yeah, I might actually go for this. I've played a lot of Agrarians, been pretty impressed with the card. I do enjoy it. We played it in Sealed, we played it in our first draft. So let's try out something a little different here. Maybe we can go really heavy black, go for like a 10-7 split, and then this card actually does end up being pretty viable. Pick number 2. Galactic Wayfarer, I think, is probably one of the best commons in the whole format. That card's been absolutely gnarly. 3/3 plus a lander token. Embrace Oblivion wouldn't be insane to take here, just because we have to go so deep on black to play our Archenemy's Charm. If I'm taking a green card, I'm pretty sure I'm just taking Wayfarer. Yeah, there's like a Toughness Matters card, whatever. And then a green removal spell. I'd rather take the Incredible Ramp. There's a blue artifact mana card and a white spacecraft drawer. Yeah, I'm into the Wayfarer here from what I've played so far. Pick number 3. 3 mana for a 3/1, destroy a creature, and the controller draws 2. That's a very bad deal, but if you get your opponent to block your little random 1/1 or 2/2 attacker, you basically get that Death Touch swing in, and then that's a lot better. And there are some just absolutely astronomically large creatures once you hit the late game, so sometimes you kind of gotta do what you gotta do. I feel like Lumbering Falls is actually probably a somewhat high pick. There are no dual lands at common or uncommon, so you're not going to come across them too often, and I do think there's a lot of merit to the green splashy decks because of the amount of lander tokens that green can produce. The only issue that I have with taking Lumbering Falls is it's really not going to end up in the same deck as Archenemy's Charm. The fixing in this format is not good enough for that, but if we get pushed off of black, which is pretty possible here because unless black is super, super open, we can't really get to the Charm. Having the fall seems good. Even if I don't end up playing blue as a core color, just having more splashy things to do with my lander mana seems like a good thing to be doing in green. Pick 4. There is a lander token producer in black here with the Beamsaw Prospector. I like lander tokens a lot, probably too much. Kind of want to take that. It is likely better to just take the excellent green removal spell, Diplomatic Relations. Deal damage to somebody equal to your power and get a Vigilant swing in. Yeah, we'll take Relations. Probably the better card. Pick number 5, Alpha Rail. 3 mana, 2/3, draw 2, discard 2, or discard 1 artifact, and it's Death Touch during your turn. Doesn't seem that good. Death Touch only during... I feel like this card could have just had Death Touch at all times, and it still would have just been, like, good. This only exiles the small stuff. And then you can get a 2/2 for all the stuff when you get to a whole bunch of mana. That doesn't seem great in this format. There's a lot of good big stuff. If you're in the wrong matchup, the Star Cage isn't going to do much. I'm not a huge fan of this pack. I'll just take the Prospector here, I guess. Pick 6. Interesting land. Super cool artwork, by the way. Legally distinct Death Stars right there. Okay. I see you, Wizards. I could try to make a Toughness Matters deck. I do not know the format well enough to know how many high toughness creatures there are. I haven't seen a lot. Maybe it'll be a thing. That could be cool. Power Depot's also pretty cool, though. Pick 7. 6 mana, bounce 2 of your opponent's creatures, and you have a gigantic vehicle to station up later. Station 9's a lot, but if you're in a board stall, you can solve that pretty quickly. When you're in the late game, especially in like a green deck, just tap your 5/5 that's summoning sick anyway, and you're halfway there. Then you finish it next turn. Yeah, I don't mind the freighter. Then double bounce. Pick 8. If one or more counters we put on a creature, spacecraft, or planet you control, twice that many are put on instead. The doubling season. Doubling season not particularly good in draft. That's fun though, right? I could immediately station 10 counters onto this with a 5/5 now. Feel like just a 2 mana 2/2 Death Toucher is better, or even the Command Bridge. When there's not a lot of fixing, Command Bridge could go a long way. Pick 9. Fungal Colossus is fun in decks with a bunch of lander tokens, because you can try to get one of each basic, and then this is like a 3 mana 5/5. Actually, a 2 mana 5/5 if you have 5 different lands out. Helps you double spell in the late game, or I just take a random blue removal spell that looks okay. I'll take Colossus. Steel Swarm Operator. An artifact mana dork. There's just not a lot in this pack. I don't think blue-green is a good color pair for that card, but again, there's really nothing else in that pack. Nebula Dragon's a really splashable card off of your lander tokens. I don't love the sorcery speed naturalize effect. I think the instant one's perfectly playable, but I'm not super into the sorcery. Doubling up on operators there so that there's a chance if we get some really big artifact payoffs that we do move on to some kind of artifact strategy. Get pushed off of green here. Okay, pack 2, pick 1. I like Orbital Plunge a ton. Removal spell that often gives you a lander token as well, for an excellent 2-for-1. Bygone Colossus is fun. There's some things you can do to combo with it to have it actually stick around as a 9/9, but not a ton. It is 3 mana to station basically any of your spacecraft and immediately unlock it, like the Specimen Freighter, so that's fun too. Another dragon. We got a lander token with the Sammy's Curiosity. Don't love the microsizer. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. The siege ship's also interesting. Station 7's a lot, but a 4/5 flyer for 3 is a good deal. Pack 2, pick 2. Don't love the black cards again. 3 mana 1/3, but if you cast 2 spells in your turn, it's unblockable, and you just poke your opponent, draw a card. Every turn you can do that. The Infiltrator here. Although, 2 mana 3 to a creature, or 5 if you have a spacecraft, is a good run removal spell. Yeah, I mean, half of our blue cards are just not actually cards. The only blue card we really have is Freighter. Maybe Lumbering Falls. Yeah, I'll take the red burn. I maybe should have even done that last pack. Just grabbed the 6 damage, make a lander token. We've opened a lot of command bridges in this draft pod. Close Encounter's probably the best option here. Removal that is on color for the 1 color that I'm guaranteed to play. It's not a good combo with our Death Toucher, but what are you going to do? The Close Encounter is the spell that deals damage. It doesn't actually let the creature deal the damage for some reason. The reason is because they need it worded that way so that your creature in exile can still deal damage. I assume there's some rulings thing that would make it weird if an exiled creature is technically dealing the damage instead of the spell that's on the stack. But because it's worded that way, you don't get to kill things with your Death Touch creature with that one. Pick 5. Discard a hand, draw 2. If the lander token is significantly better for you than your opponent, then this is just straight up a 1 mana 2/2, which is pretty good. But that lander token needs to be better for you than your opponent for that to be a good card. So I'm not super confident in that one. The only other cards here are just fine top-end red spells. I'll try the Rover. Pick 6. Great red removal, flying around pick 6. What about this? Create X. Tokens that are copies of an artifact or creature you control. Give them haste. Sack them in the end step. 3 mana to get 1 copy of Warden. 5 mana, get 2 3/4s with haste. 7 mana, get 3 of them. I guess the idea is you do this at 7 mana on like your 6 or 7 mana creature and then try to win the game off it. That's pretty fun. Territorial Bruntar seems like a great top-end spell. 6/6 reach, and whenever you play a land, you exile cards until you hit a non-land, so you're guaranteed to be playing non-land cards off of its landfall triggers. Unlike some other cards like that would just draw you 1 card into exile every turn. It's drawing you 1 guaranteed non-land into exile every turn. I think we're red at this point. I think we're green-red, based on what we've been getting recently. But we could splash in the Freighter pretty easily. I've got a Lumbering Falls and some Lander tokens. Pick 8. Ardent seems decent. The Scrapper doesn't seem terrible either. We'll play with the Ardent a little bit. Pick 9. Full station mode with the Bygone Colossus. 9 mana, 9/9 is bad. But the Warp is really fun. I don't have any actual spacecraft yet, though. Let's just take the Dragon. Pick 10 Plasma Bolts. Alright, this helps us against any more aggressive decks, just kill their little stuff. And it's pretty easy to trigger the Void. Crack a Lander token and deal 3 is how we're going to do it in this deck. But other decks have good ways to do it as well. I also did like that that Menacing creature. The 4 mana 4/3 that makes a Lander token. I think that card's also good. But I'll give the nod to the Plasma Bolt for now. Okay, pack 3, pick 1. Probably just a big, gigantic Grove Strider as a huge creature with reach. Or sorry, with ward, not reach. Moonlit Meditation can be fun. Every time you play a Lander token, you make a copy of whatever this is enchanted on. But I don't actually have enough Lander tokens for that to be a thing. I've got like 3 or 4 right now, so we'll just take Grove Strider. It's just guaranteed good. Don't really have to draft around it at all. We're already in a good spot for it with this deck. Another Orbital Plunge is fantastic. I could use more removal, and I could use more Lander tokens, and that is both at once. Come on in, Plunge. I'm taking the Plunge here. Another Orbital Plunge or a Stinger. Very low on cheap blockers without taking another 2-drop, but god, I like Orbital Plunge. Pick 4. Diplomatic Relations. I've got a bunch of plunges now. Probably don't need that. I can take this Landseeker for the 4/3 mana, so I can splash in the Codecracker Hound as a lot of card draw. Just can warp it and then recast it. I am already splashing blue. The double Sibsig Appraiser is just a silly card. The amount of card advantage you get off of it. Splash that in high up on the mana curve. Once we've cracked a Lander token for blue, take an Invasive Maneuvers. We'll deal 3. I've only got like the 1 spacecraft. These are not dealing 5 very often. Probably have enough removal, just the big worm is better at this point. Especially without spacecraft in this deck. Satanic here. Could draw an extra card off of this any turn that I play my land for turn and crack a Lander token. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to get a Lander token. Maybe 7 I'm missing, like Edge Rover sometimes does. Yeah, we'll take Tanook. Another Ardent, I suppose. Another Wayfarer for sure. And some stuff I will not be toying around with. But maybe. Moonlit Meditation off the splash would be funny, but I'm not going to do that. I feel like Banishing Light off the splash is more likely than a 3rd Weftstalker Ardent. Our 3-drop slot is really contested right now with the Wayfarers and the Ensigns. I'm not cutting any of those for a 3rd Ardent. Not going to play any of this. I don't think that naturalize effects are unplayable in this format. There's a lot of artifact creatures. My problem is that naturalize effect I'm not a big fan of as a sorcery. But there's like a 2-mana instant blows up an artifact or enchantment. I think that one's fine. Okay, we only need to cut 3 cards to have a deck here. We have made the double Tanook better with the Tapestry Warden. They could be 3-mana 4/4s. We also make the Remnant Elemental better. 2-mana 4/4 with the Warden. Alright, I'll play the Doofus. Fungal Colossus doesn't look that great. We're just splashing into a 3rd color. But I do have 2 other differently named lands, a Command Bridge and a Lumbering Falls. If I have an Island Mountain Forest, how much does this cost? This costs 5 mana, so 5 mana 5/5. Because that's the average that we'll have out at that time. Feel a little bit low on beef. I'm not in love with the Ardent in this deck. It's not like we're spamming a bunch of creatures or artifacts out. And I don't want to miss out on any more beefy creatures if I don't have to. Yeah, I think I'd rather cut like one of these Ardents and keep one of our big Dargans. And then we've got a deck. Sure. Some green-red landfall ramp with a blue splash for very nice late game play and huge card draw from the Code Cracker Hound. The mana base should be pretty dang good here. We have a Command Bridge for any color and a Lumbering Falls for green-blue, as well as 5 or 6 ways to get a Lander token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Edge Rover on occasion. Looks pretty good to me. We'll call it a deck here, hop into gameplay, and see how well this deck does. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 1. Let's keep this. Awkward I don't get to play the green spells till turn 2, because there's multiple good 1-mana green spells. Okay, I guess I get to warp this in to deal 1 damage with whichever one of these I end up playing. I think I'm on Curiosity to get to these orbital plunges as quickly as possible, even if I miss a land right now. So we'll take 1 damage since I'm not playing a creature. Starfighter Pilot, pretty aggressive. 1-drop into 2-drop, curving out here. Attacking for 4 on board next turn. It's going to be painful, especially when I'm missing land drops as I have. Gotta crack the Lander, take 4 here. +1/+1 counter on a creature, draw a card. Oh dear, and now the Might gives +2/+2 to the other card. So this is a good card for the +1/+1 counter decks. They're dealing 6 now. Oh boy. Pretty terrible game to miss land drops. Opponent curving out here. I need another green more than anything. I just need 1 red to play a plunge. But I could need double green to play like Rover and Relations in the same turn. Oh god. It's the best aggro deck I've played against so far. Plunge the Might here. Well, they're tapped out. Take 4 on board. Good grief, stop! So is green-white secretly the best aggro deck in the set? It's looking like it might be black-white, but this has been nasty. I can play 1 removal spell, or I can play 2 blockers. I could play 1 blocker and a removal spell if I do the Diplomatic Relations. Should be pretty good. The 2/2 to block the 1/1s. That's probably my best play, actually. Surveil 1. Take the 2 here. I have 3 4s and 2 3s and stuff coming up. 3/2 flyer. 3/4 flyer. Even worse. And then they can move that equipment to give other things flying. That's really, really bad for me. It's only 3 mana to move it around as well. So Warden does not have reach. If I plunge that, they just put the equipment on the pilot, still hit me for 3 in the sky. So I think I'm playing the Ardent and cracking the Lander to guarantee land 6 for the Freighter. The Freighter can kill multiple tokens permanently. And eventually give us a flying blocker. It'll probably be too late by the time we get that, but gives us a chance. Oh, double boosters. Alright, this thing seems pretty good. These auxiliary boosters. But I'm also under, like, infinite pressure already from them just curving out, so maybe it's more about that than how good the boosters themselves are, but these look really bad for me. I mean, if I was going to draw anything here, Invasive Maneuvers for a 2-mana deal 5, since I'll have a spacecraft on the board, does feel reasonable. The problem is they can equip both. They can equip both of the boosters next turn because they have 6 lands here. They have curved out and used like almost every single point of mana every turn and like not missed a land drop the whole time. This is like as good as your curve out can get. And so we are dead no matter how we play this game. That is super dead. 0-1 heading into game 2. Okay, here we are on the draw for game number 2. We have a 2-mana removal spell. The Diplomatic Relations is a little awkward because we can't use it as removal until we have a creature of our own on the board. And this opening hand doesn't have a creature till like turn 5. But now we've got one. They didn't play a creature here, so we'll just lead with it. Remnant Elemental. So I can play a land, then it's a 2/4, and then Relations, and it's 3 power, deal 3 damage to whatever I need to. But there's Vanishing Light. Goodbye, Remnant Elemental. Tapestry Warden's the draw. Can't do anything with it yet. But that'll be the turn 4 play. Decode Transmissions. Our opponent draws 2, loses 2. I don't have the mana to crack the token I'm getting from Wayfarer here, but I'm still really in the market for the Lander token. It can give me Void on Plasma Bolt, then it can get me to the 5 for Grove Strider. So I'm going to lead with that instead of the 4/4 Vigilance. Naturally hit the Land Strider mana anyway, and they played a 2/4 where I could attack with a 4/4 but not a 3/3. Awkward, but welcome to the board, Grove Strider. Void Forged Titan. I'm going to kill that before it gets any Void triggers. That is for dang sure. Diplomatic Relations is an instant, so if they block wrong here, this could go really poorly for them. So I'm going to send and then Diplomatic Relations. Okay. I'm going to go insanely poor them. It doesn't go insanely poorly for them, but it is pretty good for us. If they blocked the other way, it would have been awful for them. Could have killed both, cost of just 1 card. But that still seems favored to me, so I'll take that. This thing's got Ward 2, so they have another Banishing Light. 3 mana removal spells can kill the Grove Strider right now. They do not. Apparently their hand is quite bad, and that's just going to be 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 3. We got our cheap removal, a Plasma Bolt, and then a Plunge at 4 mana to blow something up and get a Lander token to get our Code Cracker Hound later. Ooh, the blue source to play the Hound turn 3. Let's go. Start drawing cards as quickly as possible. I might have to Plasma Bolt their 2-drop though. So we gotta slow them down if we can. Okay, they don't even play one. Then I'm warping. Well, those are some choices. I guess I'll take a third green over a third red. Both are equally not that relevant. Voidborn. Whenever this or another creature you control dies, drain me for 1. Yeah. Good enough to kill. Come on out, Codecracker Hound. These are better options. Get another removal spell against Rakdos, I think. I already have more than enough lander tokens. Because I got more than enough lands, period. Swarm Color. Okay. If I want to kill it, I have to Orbital Plunge, so... let's just play the Grove Strider. That can live for now. We've got another Voidborn. The Remnant Elemental doesn't affect the board too much pre-combat. I could plunge the color attack both. Look good to me. The 8. Here's a Remnant Elemental and pass. Interceptor Mechan. Do a black and a red for a 2/2 flyer. When it enters, return an artifact creature from grave to hand, and at the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left or spell was warped, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So a nice flying Gravedigger style spell. That's pretty good. Okay. Flooding a bit here. Don't have great blocks on board already, and I don't really care about Vigilance. We'll just save Relations for a trick if they try to double block kill somebody. Try to double block kill the Elemental, specifically. But even if they do, I could just crack the Lander token, and my 4/4 trades into both anyway. Chump block it is. Alright, let's crack the Lander and hit a little harder. They're down to 8. Plasma Bolts. The 2/1. Play another Voidborn. If I Relations that one and I top deck removal, they're dead. I think I'm still waiting though. There's instant speed removal on the Grove Strider. Alright. Not much to commentate here, we just keep poking them and waiting to draw relevant spells. Umbral Collar Zealot. They can sack other things to surveil one now. And they get the 2/4 from Swarm Color, which is too big to relations and too big to attack through. Thank goodness, we found something pretty relevant. A flyer that can kill them fast. Kill the Zealot first. And this is big enough to also relations the Swarm Color away. Killing the Zealot so my 2/3 can attack him without dying. They do get some extra drains for me choosing to kill that instead of Voidborn. But I think that is fine. Alright, chump. They're super dead on board. I guess if I hit a land, it actually only takes 6 if they don't play a creature. And I don't hit a land. But I've got 11 lands here. I'm pretty unlikely to hit another. I've gone through 12 already. Oh, come on. At least they're at 1. I've got several spells that I think one-shot them. Tanook with a land. That's so funny. They reanimate my creature and I just bounce it back, and now Nebula Dragon recast kills them. Can you get around the Nebula Dragon lightning bolting you? This was not even on my list of instant win cards, but I guess it is one of them. Not instant. Takes another turn. But Tanook would also not be an instant win. We'd have to wait till the next turn. I'd draw him, and then I'd need to draw the land to trigger the landfall. Alright, let's go. When I saw that ballot, I was like, oh my god, I'm probably just gonna die this. The one-sided, well, yeah, it was one-sided at that point. One-sided board wipe plus reanimate the best creature. But we got them all the way down to 1, so there were a lot of lethal outs we could draw into, and we hit one of them, so 2-1 it is, heading into game 4. Alright, we are on the draw. We have no green source. We do have a turn 2 elemental no matter what to block a little bit, and any third land draws 2 draw spells with the Codecracker Hound, which can really dig for forests. So I'm gonna keep this. I get to dig through 4 cards and draw 2 of them. Opponent starts with the Wormwall Sweeper, Surveil 2, and it stations up for 4 total charge counters. Turbo Drone, station half the Sweeper. I think I need to keep hitting land drops pretty bad, so I'm gonna just warp this and draw the card instead of playing Ardent. Tap land next turn? I can afford that here. Go for the tap land and play a 3-drop Ardent or Codecracker Hound. It's fine. Sounds very strong later. So against Boros, I might be in a position I'm supposed to just hold off and take less damage. If I hold this up to block this and then they just play like a 3/3, then they make it a 4/4 haste and I don't block anyway, so it's actually just attack here. Oh man, the ship's engineer. Gonna be drawing them cards here. Yeah, that's the only kind of card I would have really needed an untapped land. Luckily, I just top decked it immediately. Kill this before they get more nonsense out of it. Now the board is wide enough, this is going to be a relevant blocker. Even if they do haste out a 4/4 on stopping the 2/2 damage. They do! They haste one out in the sky, which is particularly gnarly. Still have a really good 6-mana way to try to stabilize. And I know I can hit 6 mana now. Tap land this turn, untap land next turn. If I play an untapped land now, I could play... I don't have any reach even if I hit green. If this thing had reach, I might go forest and then play that. But what I could do is I can go untapped land, Codecracker Hound, and then just crack the lander token. Yeah, I guess the elemental does have reach. I'm dumb. My own card had secret reach. Not that I could have killed anything, I just could have taken 1 less point of damage last turn. I took 1 more than I needed. I think I have enough cards in hand right now. I just want to play the beefiest blockers I can, which is a 3/3. I can't believe I hidden reached myself. Oh wait, no, it didn't matter. Their flyer had 4 power. I didn't hidden reach myself. I could only block a 2-power creature if I wanted to keep my creature on board. I was double incorrect. I actually did it right the whole time. Whenever you unstep control 2 or more tap creatures gain 2. That's not very relevant. The relevant part of that is that it's a hasty 4/4. That is very relevant. The life gain is basically just blank text right now, though. Okay. Yeah, the 4/4 stat line's so bad for me. I can kill the sweeper and chump the 4/4, or I can double block the 4/4 and lose the elemental, take 5. Neither of these plays are particularly great for me. I think I'm pretty dead here, however I play it. That's where I'm at. Oh my god, am I dead here? Pain for all. Pain for me, more like it. They top deck any creature and I die. Oh wait, no, I'm already dead. They could just re-equip. Man. Alright. Gnarly curve out again here for Boros. I'm happy to find the aggro decks now, though. I was getting a little worried it was going to be all super late ramp stuff, but we really found the aggro curve outs this game. Just an unwinnable game 1 against green-white. Pretty unwinnable one against that Boros there. So it looks like the white decks are the best aggro decks that you got to be really scared of, because that was really the key aspects there with green-white and red-white, was just white has really good curves of creatures and some efficient removal to get a lot of damage in early. All right, 2-2 it is. This may be our first draft and or sealed event, our first event of Edge of Eternities period, where we get less wins than losses. We'll have to see heading into game number 5 here. We are on the play. All 3 of our colors, a Plasma Bolt available on turn 3, although we'd obviously rather Wayfarer if we can. Playing against the black deck, they start with an indestructible food token, which is very funny flavorfully, but not the most relevant. They just get to sack this to gain 3 and draw a card. See, the laser can't even get through the nutrient block. Oh god. If enemy end step, control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on any creature, and you can remove a counter and tap something. Alright, that's super bad. Guess I'm skipping out on Wayfarer. Because if they just play like another creature, I guess they'd have to play a creature and a way to tap another creature. I'm very likely to be able to kill that turn after this. I don't think it's going to get a +1/+1 counter quite yet. Dubious Delicacy. Goodbye, Wayfarer. All of the strange foods on my opponent's board. Okay, goodbye, Chaplain. And let's get a land. Just cracking it now because I'm lazy and I want Arena to auto-pass. Virus Beetle. By 7-drop. Warp into a land and then play the Stinger. Never mind, there's no land here. I don't have any more landers in hand, but if I draw into any, Chinook is really good. I've got the the spacecraft to make the maneuvers 5 damage. That'll be nice. Auxiliary boosters. This thing has just been consistently putting in work. My land draws have also been so much more awkward than you would think, with how much digging and drawing I'm doing. Tokens. Alright, we're going to take 3 here. I get to stop the Virus Beetle from hitting me now, and we're getting very close to the Freighter. Buff the Virus Beetle. It's a big boy now. I do not want to bounce the Virus Beetle, so if I play Freighter, I'm only bouncing the token. So I wait on it. 6 mana to play around with. Play Chinook and hold up removal, I guess. Guess I've got time to take another 3. Okay. Get rid of ye old beetle. Yeah, they have to re-equip and everything here. Yeah, come on, Outgrowth Strider. Change my mind. If they're just taking the beetle trade, I don't think I need to hold up maneuvers. That can't be good. Make me lose 3, go for the equip. We got another 7 damage in hand here. Okay. Interesting. Bounce the token. Goodbye, Freighter and Hound. I have nothing that can kill a spacecraft when it's not stationed, so if they just play anybody with 4 power, they play it, equip the boosters, station the battleship, and I'm dead. I'm just gonna die to a 10/10 flying trample that's basically a haster because I can't use sorcery speed stuff. I guess even if I could, it's so big I can't kill it regardless because my removal's all damage based. Oh, I'm dead. Station is sorcery speed, so my only hope is that full control mode here, I kill their creature before they can station with one of these instants. Yeah, respond to its ability. Hold up, that's not a triggered ability. So they have priority right now. That's going to make it the 5th power, but I've got the removal to respond. Target that. Auto pay. Choose a creature. Submit. So they can't station. We have lethal on board. Oh, that was so close. Oh my god. Can't kill the battleship, but because you can only station as a sorcery, if they specifically drew a creature with less than 5 power, I could kill it before they make it big enough to station the battleship, and that is a very lucky ending that that's exactly what happens there, but I think that is a solid way to end off that draft. 3-2, so just an average 50-50 record of 3-3 at best. I think based on how things were going there, that's likely where it would end up. But we are at basically the hour mark, so I'm going to move on to get another draft recorded for you all. This was a fun deck. It's certainly lacking on anything super explosive. It's pretty much all commons and uncommons here. And I think that is where it's lacking. Like these kinds of play a bunch of lander tokens, ramp a bunch decks are at their best when you have, you know, something really explosive to ramp into, and we just don't have a big haymaker like that. We didn't get any of the super big bomby rares to ramp into. It's just a bunch of solid value plays and fixing, which I think still makes a pretty reasonable deck, but an average one overall. We were certainly weaker to more aggressive decks, not a lot of early plays, and those were the 2 losses that we had here were a couple pretty aggressive decks from our opponents. And then against the big late game decks, I think they can probably just outclass us if they have really good rares. Luckily enough, though, we did kind of dodge those for the most part for the 3-2 run. So yeah, reasonable, pretty average deck here, but I think that's understandable for a deck with no bombs. I mean, it does have one rare. It's got the Lumbering Falls at least, but nothing that's really a bomb for it. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm send us more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.